continue with the folder connector. So now let us take a look at once again how to import multiple files from a folder in one go using Power BI. Earlier when I explained about importing the data or loading the data into Power BI using CSV file or Excel file, with that option, for example using Excel workbook with this connector, or if I use text CSV connector, I should be able to load the data from each file one after another. Let's say I have 10 files, 10 CSV files are there. If I want to combine the data, or if I want to merge or combine the data in all the text files in one go, right, it is not possible with this option, with this text CSV or Excel workbook, right? So it is not possible. So we have something else called folder connector. I just walk you through this quickly. Okay, so here on the left side, if you click on the file, on this right side you will find all the file related connectors. Okay, you just click on folder because we are going to explore how we can load multiple files in one go using folder connector. So here I'm going to select my or navigate to my folder name. My folder name is monthly sales. Alright, so here before I go there, okay, now I'll just select this folder name. All you need to do is you need to specify your folder name. That's it. Click on OK, and next we will go and physically check what files are there in this folder. So this is the folder name I have mentioned in the folder connector of Power BI Desktop. Within this folder we have a subfolder also, isn't it? So we can see something like March. In that we will see the March.csv and April.csv. And so what happens here is not only the folder connector option, right, in Power BI Desktop can pick up the files in this main folder, and also it pick up the files from the subfolders that are part of your main folder monthly sales. In our case the main folder name is monthly sales because this is the folder name I have specified here. So now look here. So automatically it picked up April.csv and March.csv. Look here, these two files automatically it picked up. So though the March.csv was available under the subfolder of March, it was having the capability to automatically pick up all the files from the main folder monthly sales. All the files and folders from the subfolders from the monthly sales. So now we need to click on transform data. I can use combine and transform data. It is not the best way of doing it now because we need to, supposing in this case we have two files, and if you have more than two files are there and you have different extension, instead of .csv you have .txt, .json files. So in that case it is not much helpful, right? So what we need to do is, in general, right, it is best you can click on transform data when it comes to folder connector. So in this case what happens is when we combine the files using the folder connector, all the files in the folder and its subfolders are processed the same way. So that is what we can see, that right, it picked up the files automatically. And also to ensure that combining these files combining the files work properly, we need to make sure that all the files in the subfolders have the same file format and structure. .csv, all the files should be having the same extension .csv file format and structures. What do you mean by structure? And supposing when you open the March.csv, you have something like order ID, order date, and you have some customer ID, something like that. Same order, all the other files, the column should be columns should be available. Okay, in the April.csv also, if you open it, order number, order date and customer ID should be there. In case of any columns got shuffled here and there, you need to fix it. First you need to, using the Power Query editor, you can go ahead, look here. See, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the transform data. So make sure that the file type and the format and also the structure, the column orders, right, should be same for all the files in both the main folder as well as the subfolder files. Now what I do is I just clicked on transform button, so I don't need all the other columns, so I just select only these two columns. Rest of the columns I wanted to remove it in one go. Just click on remove other columns. When you click on remove columns, these two columns, selected columns, will get removed. I don't want these two columns to be removed. Instead, other columns, non-selected columns, should get removed in one go. Just click on it. It's pretty simple. So next I just click on this double down arrow. This is for combining the files, okay, and the file 1 and file. So look here, apr.csv, master.csv, these two files you combine it. Okay, it is showing the data preview window. You just say check, everything is correct or not. You have something called sample file, and so you don't have to do anything here. It automatically identifies the file origin. And next one is, see, look here, the delimiter is comma. In case something else, you need to, let's say semicolon, you need to use semicolon. If it is a space, you need to space, right? You need to use space. Let me click one more time. You need to be a bit careful, before you. So you don't have to do anything. In the some cases they use they specify .csv file, but they, inside the file they would have used semicolon. Okay, so in that case you go ahead and change it there. Okay, so in this case we don't have to do anything. It is a comma separated value files. Each column is separated by comma. Next I'm going to click on OK. So now both files got combined. Okay, and I'm going to remove this column. Look here, I'm going to carry out data transformation. So in this case, the data transformation is removing this unnecessary column row.id. So now these two files got merged, and then we applied one step. That step is row.id. Remember this. So now what I am going to do is I'm going to close and apply. .36 rows got loaded now. And those two files put together, we have only 36 rows are there, right? Those two months. Fine. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a visual, table visual. So this is the visualization pane. This is the visualization. Just beneath this we can see all these charts. I just selected this one, table. Okay. So usually we to troubleshoot anything, right, we use a table visual when you do DAX coding or anything, right? So if you want to check the quality of the data, or after you do the data, so for data validation, all the things, right, troubleshooting everything, we use table visualization in general. Anyhow, let's not worry about which visual. For the time being I have used table visual. What I am going to do is I am going to select the category column. The next one is I'm going to select the sales column. Look here, the sales column, just before this sales column we did not see the sum notation, which means there is something wrong with the data type here. I just go to this window. So it seems it requires some kind of data cleaning. Since it requires data cleaning, I am going to click on the transform data. It will take me to the Power Query editor. This is what our thing. So you'll find a lot of things here: parameter one, sample file, transform file. Look here, when we combine, see when Power BI combines the files, behind the scene it generates these files: sample file, parameter one, and transform file. So it is too early to discuss about parameter one. Anyhow, in the subsequent session, we'll discuss about the parameter one. That time probably I will revisit here and help you to understand this one. Okay, and then we have something called transform file. So look here the parameter one and all, it will be used. So you don't have to worry. Everything is done automatically on our behalf by Power BI, the query editor. See, sample file, parameter one, transform file, and this one got generated, and the next one is helper queries. So these are the three queries, helper queries, and the sample file is in this case april.csv, and next one is april.csv only, sample file. Fine. So we don't have to worry about this one at this moment. Just click on the monthly sales. This is where we found some issue with the sales column. The sales column, we could see that it is a text data type. And what we will do is we will take a look at this data just by scrolling down on this column. Look here, you can see some values like these three rows in this sales column prefixed with dollar. For these values, it prefixed with dollar, right? Some user, they use dollar, they prefix a dollar for this value. So we need to remove the dollar, and then we need to convert this a decimal data type. There are two steps we need to carry out. So replace values, click on it, and here you just type dollar and leave, don't specify anything. That means wherever dollar is there, you put blank, something like that. Okay, so remove that. So now the dollar got removed. Even if you scroll 2309, just before that the prefixed dollar went off. The next step is you click on this icon, ABC icon. Here you will find all the data types that are available. Sales is obviously decimal number, convert is decimal number. And if you see this statistics here, error, there are no error after converting the sales column text data type of this one into decimal data. We don't see any error, and we don't see any empty data also. Good. So we are able to successfully convert the number data type. What I am going to do is I am going to close and apply this one. So it will close the Power Query Editor, and then it apply the transformation. What transformation we did? Data type, right? So we removed the dollar in one step, and second step we have changed the data type to decimal data type, right? And if you take a look at here, the sales on the right side, still right now it put the sum sign. That means the sales column got converted as a quantitative variable. So in our case, this quantitative variable is a decimal data type. So now I want to drop this sales column into this table. One option is I can drag and drop this, or I can check mark this. When I check mark this, look here on the right side, automatically this column got dragged and dropped into this table visual. So now we can see that for February month and March month, the March month and April month, right? These 2 months put together, this is the total sales happened. So now what I am going to do is, this is where some issue happened yesterday. It was hanging like anything. So I am going to bring in another data called February. I am going to include, I just push the February file into this folder, and if I go ahead and refresh it, it should combine that file also along with the March and April file. So net 3 files should get. Look here, after combining the newly pushed file february.csv file into this monthly sales folder, so whatever the data is there in this also, right, it included that one also, and now the total got changed. So you need to click on refresh. Okay, so in this case, but when you click on refresh, obviously again it will go and load the data from all the 3 files. Okay, so in our case the volume of the data is very less. When it comes to real time scenario, the volume of the data is very, very huge. Okay, and important point that you need to note it down here is, if I go to transform data, so anyhow I don't have to go there. Anyhow I just go here and Power Query Editor. When I click on the transform data, look here, so monthly sales, if I click on the monthly sales, so it inclusive of all the 3 months data. Look here, the first row which I removed it previously, the row.id, this tab got applied to the new file also automatically. Whatever the transformation here, right? So when you remove a column, changing data type, everything, right? So what will happen is, even for the new column, look here, the sales column, right? So it does the same thing. In case of if it finds any dollar, it removes it and then it converts the decimal data type automatically. With this, you are able to understand even in the subsequent month. Let's say, now we are in, let's say we are close to May month, and May, June, July month, every month when the files get pushed automatically to this monthly sales folder, all you need to just enable the data refresh. It will automatically not only combines all the files, but also whatever the transformations that you applied previously, the same thing gets applied to your new file also. This is the point you need to keep in mind. Okay, so here you need to remember two things. One is when you combine files using the file connector. So we call this a file connector, right? So when you click on more, on the right side we could see the file connector. We have selected the file connector. All the files in the folder and its subfolders are processed the same way. And the next one is, in order for the combining the files to work properly, all the files in the subfolders should have the same file format and the structure. When these two things, if you remember it, is fine. So in real-time scenario, this is what is happening. For example, file, right? So you need to click on the folder connector. We call this a connectors, right? Each and everything as a connector. Folder is a connector. We call it a connector. So now you understood, this one got refreshed successfully here. I'm going to click on close and apply, because here I did not do any transformation. So for you people, I'll give you one assignment. What you do is, in the first two files, right, I will remove the dollar. Okay, I will put some new files. Okay, and for example, the April and March files. In the March and April files, the sales column, I'll remove the dollar and all. I will make it as a quantitative variable. First 2 months, when you combine it, what will happen is, it will combine these two files successfully, and then when you create a visual something like this, you can see some value here. But what you do is, you put February file after some time, right? After you combine these two files. So initially you remove this file. For example, I'm going to remove this one now. Okay, I'll just since I removed it, I just want to check, refresh whether it is reading the folder and load all the files that are part of this monthly sales folder and the files that are available as part of the subfolder, right? So look here, 17,000. It is good. So now if you keep two folders, one is the student folder. Look here, create this one, test folder or something, right? So here you keep this file, don't remove it. So in this file, what I am going to do is, I will prefix the sales column values by dollar for 3 records. Okay, and when you click on refresh, and then right, so you need to, or you can try this on your own. All these 3 files are available in the GitHub. In the April and May file, you remove only 3 columns, right? You just open the file and check the values 2000 something, right? So wherein you will find dollar before that, remove the dollar and comma also, and save it. Okay, and then you combine the those two files. Later on, you move this file from this folder to your monthly sales folder, but before moving it, you prefix the at least 2 or 3 values in your sales column by dollar, and then you click on refresh, and let me know what is your observation, what is happening, and why don't you give it a try in order to fix that one, right? So give it a try how to fix that issue, because the April and May month data, we did not find any issues. It doesn't require any data transformation for the sales column, because the sales column in those 2 months we received perfect correct data type, right, decimal data type. But in the case of June month, sorry, not June month, February month, right? So we want to push the February month a later point in time from this folder to your monthly sales. When you push it, in that, before you push it, right? So in the February file, you just include dollar for some values in your sales values column, the values of your sales column, right? You put dollar, prefix it with dollar, and then you refresh it. It will obviously fail, because when you try to insert text data into your quantitative variable sales, obviously it will fail. And what is the workaround for that? So it will still it will not fail, it will get loaded, but it will create some error, right? So it will create some error, and let me know how you can fix the error. So one way out is you just go to the transformation query, Power Query Editor, and there you select the errors and then go and replace that error, right? So you can do it that way also, and then you click on close and apply. So that is one way of doing it. But in real-time scenario, thousands of jobs will be running, and each and every job you cannot open it, you cannot modify it. Is there any way if I can write some function or something like that in order to handle this kind of error automatically behind the scene with my script, right? That is one exercise I'll give you. You just give it a try. But first and foremost, understand the basics. By watching my video, start practicing. All these files are available in my GitHub. You give it a try, okay? And February file and all these 3 files, again I will put it with different format. First you understand this one, and then you yourself can try it out. So the February and April and May file, you keep it in the monthly sales folder. In the April and March month data, you need to open it, and then you remove the dollar for the 3 values in the sales column, and March also you do the same thing. That's all. And then what you do is you once again use the folder connector and load it. It will get loaded successfully. You will not have any issues. And then create the visual, check the total, everything is fine. And then what you do is, next step is, in the February month, open this file, and at least 2 or 3 values in the sales column, you prefix it with $sign, and then save it, and then push it to this folder, and then click on refresh, right? It will get loaded with errors. Let's say 3 values in the sales column you prefixed with $, those 3 records will not get loaded. It will create. So come up with some kind of workaround. When you go to the transform editor, you will find error file there, and click on the error, and you will find the error, and see if you can fix it. Okay, so you don't have to upload the GitHub, right? So I will explain it later, Lavnish. Probably I will explain it later. Okay, don't worry. So hope you understood this concept, right? So fine. So anyhow, what GitHub is a very simple thing. I will show you later. Okay, I'll tell you.